Well, here we are, folks. We're standing here on this platform. This is the Overport Battery. The Overport Battery is a part of all of this here at the front of the castle. In the corners, you can see little pepper pot turrets. These are sentry boxes. These are the outer defences built between the years of 1708 and 1714 to strengthen the castle's defences, while at the same time to counter the rising Jacobite threat in Scotland at that time. And 300 years ago, the Overport Battery was a gun platform. At that time, the cannon would sit here, pointing down towards the town, the countryside below, to defend the castle at that time, folks. Now, below today, you can see the River Forth as it winds its way out to the North Sea, to the east of Scotland. Stirling itself lies at the heart of the medieval kingdom of Scotland. Stirling has been called the great brooch that clasps the lowlands and the highlands together, right at the heart of the kingdom. Even to this very day, in the 21st century, Stirling is still known as the gateway to the Scottish Highlands. And so in the days of yore, in the mists of time, it's been said that he who would hold this mighty fortress of Stirling Castle could hold Scotland itself, a very important castle indeed in Scotland's long history, in part to do with the river that I mentioned down below, the River Forth, and in part to do with a bridge. There's a wee bridge down here today, a stone footbridge that dates back to the 15th century, but in earlier times down there stood a wooden bridge. The wooden bridge stood down there until the year of 1297. It's an important date in Scotland's history. Related to it is the tower across the way, 220 feet high. It is the National Wallace Monument, Sir William Wallace's own monument across the way. His Wallace Monument, where it stands today, overlooks the site in the valley below of Wallace's greatest military victory, which would come at the Battle of Stirling Bridge on the morning of September the 11th of 1297. On the north side of the bridge that morning is the Scots Army, led by Wallace and his co-commander Sir Andrew de Murray. On the south side, camped down below the castle, is the English army. They also hold the castle at the time too. Over the course of the morning, the English army would cross the bridge to the north side and tent on battle. When they get to the north side, battle is joined. Two armies clash. The Scots emerge victorious, as of course does Wallace himself. He's later knighted as Sir William Wallace, becoming Guardian of Scotland. But 1297 is the high point of Wallace's career, and the years afterwards his star is on the wane. And in August 1305, near Glasgow, he would be captured, taken south to London, where he would die a traitor's death. After his execution, his head was spiked on London Bridge. But 1305, that year, the Scottish throne is effectively vacant. John Balliol, the then King of Scots, is in France. Balliol would never return to Scotland, but in March of 1306, Scotland would have a new king. This was King Robert I, or to give him his better known title, King Robert the Bruce. He would usurp Balliol's crown, seize the throne, rise to national prominence, and Bruce's greatest moment of triumph would also come within sight of the castle walls of Stirling, but in that direction, about 2 to 3 miles southeast of us, in June of 1314, over on the field of Bannockburn. Now, the main battle of Bannockburn itself was fought on the 24th of June, 1314. This is the 699th anniversary today of the battle itself. And just a year from now, of course, it will be the 700th anniversary of Bannockburn itself. They're building a new heritage centre over there, and it'll be opened in time for next year. And we also have long-range weather forecasters as well, who tell us that exactly a year from now, it'll be 85 degrees and clear blue skies as well, folks. So it's going to be even busier and sunnier as well, just a year from now, to commemorate and celebrate the 700th anniversary of the Battle of Bannockburn itself. Over there, though, it was where as King Robert the Bruce, he would defeat the army of Edward II. Well, Edward II's army would be routed that day at Bannockburn. His garrison here at the castle would surrender the castle back into the hands of the Scots. And when the Scots retake Stirling Castle, Bruce would then order his men to effectively raze Stirling Castle to the ground, demolish it and its outer defences. So what you see here today before you, above ground anyway, does not date from the time of Wallace, Bruce, Edward I or Edward II. The castle that you see before you today is mostly built in the time of Robert the Bruce's descendants. Well, Bruce himself would die in 1329. We believe that Stirling Castle would not be rebuilt until around the 1330s. By the 15th century, though, Stirling Castle had become a much favoured, much loved royal residence. And most of what you see here today before you would be built in the time of Robert the Bruce's descendants. You may very well ask, who are his descendants? The answer is simple. They are the Stuarts themselves, the Stuart court, the Stuart dynasty. They're descended from Robert through his daughter Marjorie. We ourselves now, folks, we're going to leave behind the wars of independence, battles, Bruce and Wallace and them all. And we'll come this way now and focus on the Stuart Castle of Stirling that you see before you today. And we'll do that just now, folks.